You've completed over 10,000 loans. What did those 10,000 conversations teach you about people?
Because the biggest thing everybody wants to come in to a mortgage advisor is to give them the tool to get the mortgage free faster. But that's also a myth in the market. Mortgage free faster is not the goal if you're and capable of.
What do most mortgage brokers get wrong?
This is the first step of our advice process, is to understand the need of your customer.
Can I just cut over you? What's something banks look at that people don't realize matters?
Sometimes a no could be a blessing in disguise.
What separates people who build long-term wealth from people who stay financially stressed?
Don't take failure as a failure. It's the start of a new success.
Why do some brokers stay small forever while others build a massive, capable, and fantastic trust? So Dev, Fundmaster started in 2012, and when you started, you actually had such an impact that you were winning awards consistently and setting a standard and changing the landscape. And that alone set you up to move away from receiving awards to the person giving awards as a judge. Tell us all about that.
Well, it's been a very interesting journey from 2012. Awards was something which came in because obviously when you're doing the right kind of work for your customer and looking after your client, you actually forget what awards are because you're getting rewarded every day when you see those settlements and those smiles every time they get into their own home or they get the keys. So that award feeling was every time. And then finally you get recognized by people setting up awards and stuff. That becomes another good feeling that you're being recognized by not even your customers, but also by the wider community, because there are a lot of stakeholders, the banks, the credit people, the mortgage industry people, the aggregators, a lot of insurance advisors, a lot of insurance companies. Getting a recognition throughout is amazing. And from there on, getting into the judging panel. And proud to say that I was the only Kiwi Indian who was or who is in the judging panel for NZMA Awards. And that is the most prestigious and the most valid award for a mortgage broker in our industry in Australia and New Zealand. So it has been a great journey coming through, and giving awards it's not just simple, it's a lot of criteria which is set through. And while you are in the judging panel and judging, you obviously are not there to get awards because it's time to give back to your own industry and to your community of mortgage brokers, because you want the other talent and the younger talent should also be recognized for the work they're doing.
Do you know what I love? I love the fact that you set the preface that my award, your award, was the fact that they were getting keys, that you were putting people into homes, that you were giving people life security. And that in itself is brilliant. And of course, every accolade you deserve, and you really did set a standard. So beyond being the Kiwi Indian on the judging panel, you're the person who set the standard on a judging panel. And I love that.
Thank you. Thank you, Colin.
You've completed over 10,000 loans. What did those 10,000 conversations teach you about people?
That when a first-home buyer or an investor, everybody has their own individual need and goal, but everybody is very similar when they are coming in, because all they want is a result of success for them, a result of freedom for them, a result where they can actually look through, see through their journey, their future, their goals being accomplished. And that's what I've found a similarity between all, but obviously different phases of life, different family attributes, a lot of situations of a life journey I saw. I've done loans for parents, then the kids, right? Not the grandkids, I'm not that old, right? But you see that you've done the parents' loans, you've done the kids' loans, and then you also see generations. You also see a lot of successful people who've actually done a lot of hard work in their life. And sometimes all they need is a direction to get their finances sorted and put it in the right direction so they can do more and get mortgage free faster. Because the biggest thing everybody wants to come in to a mortgage advisor is to give them the tool to get them mortgage free faster. But that's also a myth in the market. Mortgage free faster is not the goal. If you're young and capable of paying off that mortgage, you can. You have 30 years anyways. But it's also to learn the concept of leveraging and understanding that you can use your age and your stage of life to actually get more aggressive for building assets and creating more for your family and yourself in terms of security. And as you get on the other side of 50, you can start winding down and create, more investments. And key becomes is that it's not only about mortgage free, it's about being wealthy and being free. It's not mortgage freedom,
And
it's
secure.
being freedom and secure.
So you've got so much depth there, and I think that what you do is you make the pathway seem relatively seamless. You've got a brilliant team behind you, and you're obviously the captain of the ship. So you've made it seem like it is a relatively easy rollout, but there's so much involved, right?
You've actually pinned on a very important point, because our job is to make the customer journey seamless. There are a lot of things, even this morning when I was discussing with my team, there are a lot of things in the background which we need to do in terms of back and forth. Banks can be very non-understanding at times and can be very understanding at times. It can be very daunting where you can have a new lender, a new assessor with, vis-a-vis someone who understands the game. But your customer just needs to know that it's done and approved. So a lot of background work is done to make the customer journey seamless. And that's what we pride ourselves in.
Wonderful. That is really brilliant.
Yeah.
And this is a great segue, what do most mortgage brokers get wrong?
What do most mortgage brokers get wrong is the first step of our advice process is to understand the need of your customer.
Can I just cut over you?
Yes.
Potentially, the first thing they get wrong is they've not gone to you. They've not gone to Fundmaster.
Well, that's absolutely right. The first thing they get wrong is they've not come to Fundmaster. And you're absolutely right in that. But the second thing is that even if they've not come to Fundmaster, they still need to get their needs to be understood. And that's the biggest thing. Any mortgage advisor or anyone in this industry who's wanting to be a mortgage advisor, my only tip would be, it's not sell or sell to listen, it's listen to understand and create that journey for that customer.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. If a new broker joined the industry today, what would you teach them first?
If a new broker joins the industry first, I've just already given you the answer. As you said, the right
Yeah.
segue is to listen to your client and only focus on them. Forget who you are. Forget you have anything outside this room.
Your ego.
Your ego, where do you belong, what you've achieved, what you've not done. Just be there as grounded as you can be, full of gratitude that that customer gave you the opportunity to listen to them and add value to their life.
If I was a new broker, the first thing I would do is not show them your awards. Otherwise, they'd come to Fundmaster, wouldn't they?
Exactly.
So why do some brokers stay small forever while others build a massive, capable, and fantastic trust?
Personally, I don't believe there's a small or a big broker. I feel that everybody has their own niche, their own audience, and their own goals where they align with. And some people do not want to grow beyond a certain limit because they're happy with what they have. For Fundmaster or for me, the whole goal is not about how many clients or how big or small we are. It's all about how many keys or how many smiles we can have, because I'm very hungry for those smiles when they get into their first home or their investments or when they're growing towards mortgage freedom. So I'm hungry for the smiles, and the only thing I'll say is that I want infinity of them. That's why it's not about big or small, it's what your goal is. And my goal is to see those customers have infinite smiles or infinity customers where they're just smiling, and I just, I thrive on their smiles. That makes me go every day to my office.
It gives you drive.
It gives me the drive, and it also makes me drive the car I drive.
So, one of the things the car you drive, oh, brilliant. Of course, and you deserve that. You know, one of the things is the demographic about our Indian community is we often retain ourselves, support ourselves, but Fundmaster isn't for Indians. Fundmaster is for everyone, right?
Fundmaster is for everybody because we are a New Zealand
And
born and brought
Australia.
up, New Zealand, Australia brand. New Zealand is 14 years, Australia only 1.5 years. We're just very new in Australia. But New Zealand is the ground. And Fundmaster is obviously run by an Indian origin Kiwi,
Yeah.
but it's for everybody. Because smiles do not see what caste or color you come from. Smiles and goals are very similar. And you asked me this question earlier on, what is one similar thing? It's not about an Indian or a Kiwi or a Filipino or a Chinese or an American or whatever you can call. It's about that goal they all come with, to first get their home and then get mortgage free or grow in their career.
Yeah.
And it's similar all across. And funny enough, that's the best thing because it doesn't see what other people are seeing and categorizing people into different facets of color and pride. It's about just focusing on just that person in front of you.
So thanks a lot. You've just ruined my next question.
Okay.
Brilliant.
I
So
can speak. I'm a mortgage broker.
I'll throw it out there anyway. So what's more important, being good with numbers or good with people? And clearly, you're a people person.
It's being good with people because today's world of AI, today's world of all the calculators, everything, it can all be done. But being good with people is the biggest and the most important quality to have as a mortgage advisor because you want to listen to them. And that's important. Being good with people is about looking after them and listening to them.
And we need the human touch.
It is very important. I mean, everything can be done by AI, which is a great tool. The human touch is human touch.
So now we're into the human side of money,
Okay.
which is a perfect segue.
That makes me inhuman.
We'll see. After helping thousands of families, and literally you have helped thousands of families, what do you think people are actually struggling with?
In today's time, obviously, the market is such that the whole world is struggling with. We've had 2 kids playing on each side of the globe, but kids can play because that's what
Play up.
play up. There's a book by there's a very famous book, Games People Play.
Yeah.
Right, and that book actually talks about one dimension. I'm okay, you're okay, and the biggest problem which we all face is that we always feel I'm not okay, you're okay, or I'm okay, you're not okay, or we both are not okay.
Yeah.
And that's where wars and problems come in. But if everybody has one basic thing, no matter how the environment is, and say, I'm okay, you're okay, then everything is okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we have a daunting time where the interest rates are jumping up. There's a war zone, petrol prices are through the roof.
And there's fear everywhere.
Everywhere. And that's important to understand that you are okay, everything will be okay.
So when they come and meet you, you bring a level of stability, you show the currency, and you show the pathway.
Yes, and it's also about navigating through the tough times by understanding how to budget and understanding what can be spent less when the petrol prices, obviously when the petrol prices or inflation and all this, you understand how to cut down your budget. And that's where Fundmaster prides itself that we would go out there and help people to do their budget. And on the onset, we tell them that how important is it to have a family budget and keep on regrouping and working on it because that budget will change as per your circumstances and your surroundings. That's economy.
Yeah.
Basically.
And intelligence. So with Fundmaster, there's no problems, only solutions.
There's only solutions because problems are only created if you're not okay.
Yeah.
And our job is to make you okay, to find a solution for your problem.
And not to knock banks or other sort of processing areas that people have to work within. You actually work on a different level. You work on a more intimate level to reach the goals and achievements, right?
That's very important, Colin. And you got it exactly right because yes, the processing times can slow down. The banks can be under the pump with a lot of deals when its interest rates are low. The bank can also feel that they've done the quota, they want to slow down. Things will change all across. Our job is to keep our customers updated. We don't have a Midas touch. We can't make everything turn into gold, right? But what we can do is we can keep them updated, informed, and make sure that their hand is held throughout the journey. And that's the most important thing.
And I think this is one of the factors that people don't really understand about a business like Fundmaster, where you actually are holding them by their hand, explaining to them the processes, where to chop, where to grow, and how to maintain their success.
Exactly.
And you've got to be dodging those awards as they're throwing them at you. What's something banks look at that people don't realize matters?
What banks look at is they work on the C's of life. The character. Character is not about what you do, how you look. Character is about how is your bank account looking? Are you aware of the money you earn and the money you spend? There are a lot of tools these days where you can have analysis, but are we using those tools? Because there's a lot of tools in the market, a lot of apps down there, but the basic thing which the bank wants to look at is how you're managing your inflow of income and your expenses. If you can balance them and still have savings, my basic rule is that you should always have 40% of your income saved.
Yeah.
Right? 60% should be used towards your expenses. That savings is what the banks are after. That builds your character for a bank. That somebody knows how to run their bank account as they run their own home, because everybody goes to Countdown or Woolworths or Pack and Save, and they find bargains there. But they don't know how to find a bargain with their own account. Because if they learn to manage their account well, that's what the banks look at, and that's what most of the people don't want to look at.
Oh, it's so crazy. This is what we should be learning at school.
Exactly.
Right?
We all do get taught these basic things, but we as humans want to get busy or find ourselves busy. Even today's time, we can be busy doing this.
Yeah.
Reels up and down, but we don't have time to just go into our app and look at your account.
Yeah.
Some people do. Some people are absolutely amazing because they are in control. They know what to do. But all you have to do is once in the morning, just open up and see that, okay, you got income. And every bank has a tool where there's an analysis every month, how much you earned and how much you spent.
Yeah.
And that can help you change your habits. You can budget. And every saving you make, I'll give you an example. In KiwiSaver, which is a very interesting and important tool, but lacks a lot of education in our market.
Entirely,
right? In KiwiSaver, if somebody is just putting in from 3.5%, which is the minimum requirement, to 6%, that's only $29 a week extra. That can actually make somebody who's 35 now, 45, age 75 retirement or whatever, or 65 they want to do, they can actually make a big difference, because that $29 can actually, which is a forced saving, can actually add double the amount of savings at the end. If you look at 8.5% return consistently, which a lot of KiwiSaver funds are doing now.
right?
But are we listening? Are we doing our research? Are we talking to our advisor what to invest in? Because it's not about only property. Everybody cannot invest in property. It's about also understanding there are tools in the market like KiwiSaver or other investment tools which you can work with and actually increase your cash flow. But you can also stack in a lot for your retirement without even thinking about it, because $29 extra a week, which can be actually tax-free because you're not paying tax on the gross income. Yes, you're paying tax on the pie fund of KiwiSaver.
Yes.
But you're getting that money to go into a fund which can help you grow your wealth without even you noticing it. While you're sleeping, that is true today, that while you're sleeping, money can work for you.
Yeah.
And there are so many tools, but are we using them? No. And that's where the right advice is the most important piece for everybody. KiwiSaver is being treated like somebody or someone you don't need in your life. But that's the most important being in your life.
Do you know what's crazy for someone like myself who is a civilian in this kind of world? We don't do any of these things. So it's so great to hear you say that and actually give the pathway, give the journey, and to land successfully. It's brilliant.
Thank you.
Okay. You've seen people go from being rejected to owning multiple properties. What changed for them? Which is something you've already, touched on answering, but this is important.
It's the right pathway. As a mortgage advisor, it's not about that you get everybody coming in the door with the vanilla feel that, okay, here's my 200,000 income, here's my expense, done, get my loan approved. Yes, it can be approved. And most of the people ask that, why use a mortgage broker? So answering your question, when people come within a rejection, that one becomes a challenge, but sometimes it's a very small thing that can be fixed. It's just representing the deal and having a different angle to the presentation, which would have been done in the bank before, but just rejigging it and understanding it from a bank's perspective. As a mortgage advisor, there are multiple lenders, and everybody has similar and different policy, and their appetite changes on a monthly basis as per their goals change, because banks are also institutions, but they're businesses.
Yeah.
A customer cannot fit in one bank, A, but they can fit in the B bank or C bank. And that's what we do. We understand the deal, we listen to them, we look at their documents, and all we can do is either find that simple thing which has gone wrong and fix it, or put them on a pathway for 3 to 6 months, because people don't understand this. Banks are here to help. If it's a no today, but in 3 months to 6 months, it could be a yes. But it can also be treated like a discipline issue. If you don't have the discipline to save money, and you don't know how to save and spend money properly, then you will always be in a catch-22 situation. And that's where sometimes a no could be a blessing in disguise. And there was a saying that don't take failure as a failure, it's a start of a new success story.
Yeah, that's good. Is that your new book that you're going to write?
Soon.
I think that we need a book from you, obviously. A how-to, right?
How to.
What's the biggest mistake ambitious people make financially in New Zealand and Australia? Which I think we've touched on, with the fact that you've just said that people, such as myself, will get the money and will just spend and be, live in the moment, when it doesn't take much to take apart, a percentage and squirrel it away to actually give you that financial security.
Yeah, I have a question for you, Colin, because you said people like you. So, people like you, what goes wrong? Why did you not use me as a mortgage broker before?
Well, I think, is this why I'm here? I think my issue is a lack of trust. I'd earn money, it's my money, I'll do with it as I please, and I'll travel and I'll enjoy my life, and this is one of the things that I think a lot of people do, younger than myself. But I started, and you pick up bad habits, and then those habits are maintained. And earlier, if I'd played this game wiser, I'd have more houses.
Yeah, and that's what we always say, that it takes 21 days to change your habits. In finance also, it can be 21 days, but there are 21 ways to do that as well. And that's where the book can come along, 21 ways to change your habits, and in terms of being wealthy.
Yes.
We can write that book very soon. But my point to you is that the biggest mistake made is in understanding your own expenses and your own goals. Be honest with your own self. Look at yourself in your mirror every morning and say, what do you want to achieve? And manifest it.
Yeah.
And you'll get there. Like I manifested that, I'll be interviewed by Colin Mathura-Jeffree one day. So I am sitting there and manifestation is coming true.
Yeah, I think you'll get anyone you want. You're amazing. Trying to look wealthy before becoming wealthy. I mean, that's something that people do. It's something that, people in my industry certainly, we sell a dream and we sell an ideal. So you're doing that. Now, here's a question for you. What separates people who build long-term wealth from people who stay financially stressed?
What separates them is basically their own level of patience and how they can handle stress. Because people who remain stressed need to learn how to be calm. And people who build their wealth knew how to be calm. They also handle the same stresses. But people who always remain stressed, they don't know how to be calm and how to balance it. If they learn from people who made their wealth, it's only one thing: how to be calm and focused.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So for now, how do people get hold of you at Fundmaster?
For now at Fundmaster, we've got many ways: 0800-386-362. There is a direct number which I have, and we've got 9 other people who work with us, which have another 3 advisors. So we all have a number, and the 0800 number can connect back to anyone. We are available on WhatsApp, 12 different numbers for WhatsApp. We are available through email, which is deals@fundmaster.co.nz. My direct email, dave@fundmaster.co.nz. Even for Australia, we've got dave@fundmaster.com.au or admin@fundmaster.com.au. So getting in touch today is very simple, because you can go through our Instagram, you can go through our Facebook Messenger, you can go through our website, any shape and form possible digitally, or even our office in Epsom or in Australia. We are there 7 days to help our customers.
Yeah, brilliant. And then the customers will be given a template of what to bring into the meetings, the first initial stage meetings.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do send them a list, which is not to scare them, but it's just to
It's
prepare them.
comprehensive.
It's comprehensive, but we generally ask them to come through, sit with us, let us talk through, and make things easier for you. We've also got a video which gets sent to everybody, which has got a list of documents and all the 13 steps which are required for a customer to understand. In our first step, we actually sit and do a detailed drilling down meeting with them to understand the expenses and understand everything we can do for them. And the video goes to them before even they come and meet us to just give them a brief introduction to what are they getting into, and to just ease them in the process.
Yeah, and give them a fundamental understanding of not that it isn't just an easy pathway, but it is a pathway that is achievable.
Definitely.
Through
Fundmaster.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Colin.